Hi, I'm Charmaine. Welcome to the Love of Self podcast, where we delve into the emotional aspects of finding love for self. Today's topic is shadows. It makes sense that if light exists in a space, dark cannot. Why is that? I think this is the case because the dark is shadow. That means that something is blocked. The light, in other words, knowledge, awareness, enlightenment, can't be seen because something is in the way. So when I look at the shadows within me that keep me from my own awareness, that keeps me in a shadowy consciousness of emptiness, unfulfillment, and all of the things that keep me in a harmful state of thinking. I then have to consider, what are the blocks that keep the light from me seeing what I need to see and what I need to do to bring myself out of these shadowy spaces within my own mind. We often speak about darkness as negativity, as spaces that are bad. And I don't necessarily think that that's always the case. But at the same time, it somewhat is the case, because often the things that are in the shadows and that we don't want to see are there because it brings negativity within us. It brings memories of why we have negative spaces within our thinking. So if there are particular emotions that have been shoved away over time and manifest into other exasperated emotions, or in other words, other triggers that we have that rely on whatever brings our mindset down, that's why they're often seen as bad. Because why would you want to hide the good parts of you? Why would you want to shove it away and put it in a shadowy place? It's in the shadow because it reminds us of our fear. It reminds us of our heartache. It reminds us of our lack of what we needed and wanted. It brings up the trauma that we once dealt with. And these things are the remembrances that fester into something else. And when it festers into that something else, we can no longer see. We can no longer see the truth or the root or the foundation of what creates the triggers and emotions and negativity within us that's sparked in other ways. So if these are the shadows, then I have to ask myself, what is the light? And the light is the truth. The light is the exposure. The light is the awareness. The light is the warmth, aka love, that is brought into the scenario. So then if I ask myself, okay, well, if I know what the dark and the shadow is and I know what the light is, then what is the blockage that creates the darkness within me, that creates the shadows within myself that I'm afraid to see? And that's the tricky part, figuring out what those blockages are to connect to my full awareness, to connect to my truth, my inner knowing. the awareness of what is and what was, and being able to bring that together for peace within myself. So if I begin to think about it and really contemplate blockages, what could the blockage be? And maybe the blockage is the shadow itself. Maybe the blockage is the actions of shoving the initial emotions away. The blockage is possibly when we don't deal with the initial issue, or we're unable to deal with it. We're unequipped to even conceive that it's even an issue because we're too young. We're still within our mental development. We don't have the psychological knowledge that we need through growth and childhood and adolescence. Maybe the blockage that has this shadowy fear is the fear itself. Maybe the issue itself is what creates the blockage, is what creates the shadows. And so I'm just asking for myself, contemplating on what this really and truly means and how I go about removing my own blockages for more awareness of what's within me, to hopefully bring to a more positive place, to hopefully gain more understanding within myself, to hopefully see the full spectrum with some of these blockages removed, to gain more acute awareness for why certain things trigger negative emotions, why I may overreact to things, why I have certain fears, why I may not be able to see everything that I need to see out of my own hopes and wishes for the outcome I want it to be in. But at this point, I would assume that the best thing that I can do is just take it one shadow at a time, one space within my mindset that helps me to realize all the bits and pieces, all the bumps in the road, all of the hurdles toward my betterment. And sometimes that's all we can do, is just to take the first step. I'd like to thank you for taking these few moments and listening to what I have to say. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. So, I'd like to ask you, do you have any shadows? Are there parts of you that need to see the light, that need to see the truth of why the shadows within you exist in the first place? Is there anything that you need to do to help yourself remove the blocks of your consciousness? Is there more that you need to see within yourself? Is there more that you can do to help yourself grow, to help yourself evolve, to help yourself see why you're triggered in the way that you are? I'd love to hear from you. Please comment or email theloveofselfpodcast@gmail.com. Please remember, I am not a therapist. Also, my new book is out, Love Yourself, a book of poetry and spiritual writings for self-love. It's available now on bookbaby.com. Purchase link is in my Instagram bio. I wish you all peace, love, and joy. Always.